Hello and welcome to my channel. And today I'm doing a painting by number. It's been a hot minute since I've done one of these. I've only done one once before as well, so I was a complete newbie. I know a little bit more about what I'm doing. Not much, but a little bit more. I did put the stretcher bar frame already on this canvas, and I've also gessoed it. You don't have to gesso it, so that just puts like a little bit of another coating on the canvas that helps the paint sort of, with it, because the canvas is kind of made of cloth, it's like woven, so they're all them little holes and gaps in the weave, and gesso just kind of fills those gaps and gives the paint something to hold on to. But like I say, that's an optional thing to do. And what else have I got? Okay, so I've got, you can't really see it here easily, I've got a jar of water, so that is what I'm going to be washing my brushes in. I like to double dip, so I've got a little shallow dish here as well. This is one of those old goo pots and that's just, so I'm going to dip in the main water first, get all the colour out, and then it gets a second dip here just to make sure there's no sort of dirty droplets that come with it. And the other thing I've got is I've got this. Hopefully I won't need it, but it's flow improver. So just in case the acrylic, because it has been sitting there for a while and we've had several heat waves at this point in the UK. I don't know what the weather does to paints, but in these little pots. But yeah, I thought I'll just get some of this as well. And what this does, you can add water to acrylic paints to sort of make them, if they get a bit thick, this can make them, thin them out. But this one, obviously when you add water, it also sort of dilutes the colour. So this makes the paint runny, but it doesn't dilute the pigment. So I've just got that there. So let me turn the canvas around and I'll zoom you in. And if you're wondering about these little sections, you don't have to do this at all. It's just a bit of washi tape. It's not even really stuck down. If I'd have had string, I would have used string. But it's just to keep me from being tempted to go across country. It's going to keep me confined. So, oh, and I do have one more thing, but I say that. I forgot to bring it to the table. I'm just going to go and get a white acrylic marker, because some of these symbols, if it's in a light colour, I'm just going to paint over the symbol first, and that'll mean that you don't have to do so many coats, hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah, let me get this turned around and you zoomed in and we'll get started. All right, so I've just got, this is just one of my Nicety acrylic paint that I use them for my, for adult colouring. It's got a little brush tip and it also has a, bullet tip. And yeah, so let me think. Right, first things first. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, I've just got a little, like one of these J cloths that you use in the kitchen, but they're very absorbent, so I use them for painting. And the good thing about them, if I've used them for watercolours, eventually I'll give it a wash and it'll perk up again. Let me just, yeah, we'll just wash out our brushes because they're straight out the packet, and sometimes they come with a coating. So we got them, so they're nice and soft. Okay, so I've got my paints to the side, I've got my brushes here ready. What else have we got? I've got the paints there, the flow aid is here. Right, okay, I think we're ready. I think we are ready. So let me think how we're going to do this. So the plan with the washi tapes, hang on, let me just get the end of it, and because what I'm going to do, I'm going to aim for this one. Well, actually, I'll keep it on for now. This will just unpeel. So for when the section goes over the line, I will continue it. It's not a hard and fast line, but it's just to keep me sort of confined into one spot so that I don't get too overwhelmed, because that is what happened last time. So let me see if any of these, oh, actually, I probably have an idea. This we're doing down here. Oh, so we've got flowers, so we're going to be doing bright colours. So I will still mark them out, but we're going to do one colour at a time. Let's start on something simple. I start light colours and then go down to dark. So let me see what, right, 37 is red, 28. Right, I see some number 2s, which is a light green. So let's start with that. And I think because it is, I'm not sure, I probably should have done the test. I know sometimes people do tests where they'll write down numbers and they'll paint the paint over the paint. Paint the paint over the paint, paint the paint over the numbers. And they'll see if they're opaque or not. But I'm going to just test it on the canvas. I'm scared. So what are we like? Seems okay. So the 2s I see are quite small. Okay, so we're all right. I'm just going to pick it up from the lid like this. Now, hopefully it's all in focus, because what I've done is I've set it to focus at sort of over here, so that it's not pulsing, you know, because that's really annoying. So we'll just do this little bit and see if it's opaque. It is not opaque, so let me just do this one. And then we're going to find the other twos and we're going to paint over them in the white. Yeah, that is not close to opaque. I didn't think it would be, but... Right, so where's my pen? This is 2. This is 2. I don't know how many to do, because obviously it means it's going to be... I don't want it to completely opaque. This is 2. Otherwise I won't be able to spot where I painted over with the white. This is 2. This is 2. This is 2. I think I'm just going to go with this. This is going to dry like really quickly. See, even that isn't really opaque. But what it does, gives it a head start. And it's better than the alternative is like, I'll have to paint that whole cell again, completely over the top. But obviously with a pen, it's a lot quicker to just go over the numbers. Where did I start up here? We want to do the ones that I've done first. So this is a size 1 brush. Should you be curious? And if you want to know, I go up to the lines. I sometimes go over the lines. That is the idea. Because obviously when you've finished your painting, you don't want to see these lines at all. So it's okay to go over the lines. It's good. Just consider it your freedom. But yeah, so the only painting by numbers I've done before was some really cheap thing from AliExpress, and I didn't buy it. It was given to me by somebody who had bought it by mistake because they thought they was buying a diamond painting, and it wasn't. It was a paint by number, but it wasn't my style. Like, it was a portrait, so I don't generally gravitate towards. I won't say I never do them, but I don't gravitate towards portraits. And there was flowers, which I like, but there was a lot of white space. So it was like in a sort of peachy background on the wall, and it wasn't very detailed, and I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, arguably I still don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, but one thing I did learn a few lessons from it. It was a good way to figure out what not to do. So what I learned there was just when I did it before, I went cross country. So I didn't section off the painting like this. I just found paint 1 and I just went across the whole canvas, sort of thing. Paint 2, went across the whole canvas. And, you know, obviously I kept missing things, so I had to go back. Sorry, I don't know why I'm a bit croaky today. I've had a lot of hay fever though, which is driving me crazy, because I should not be having hay fever this late in the season. But that's because we've had wacky weather, and it's yeah, it's confuse the flowers. Well, actually, it's grass pollen. But yeah, it was good. Oops, I did learn some things, and the things I learned was that generally I like to start the light colours first, because the dark colours cover up the key lines, which is great. But then you can't tell, like, if I've got this, you know, you cover up the key line, it's just like, hang on, should I continue this section, or did I just, you know? And I would confuse myself, because I am quite easily confused in shop news. So I like to start with the light colours first, then I can still see the key lines. And also, if I make a mistake, like if I did a little, I've done a splodge there, that 9 goes around that thing. I might do 9 next. What is 9? Oh, that's a darker green. But because of that, I can just paint over that splodge where I've gone, and it doesn't matter. So the dark colours cover up the mistakes. easier. And I'm all for just going, you know, the alternative is if I started dark, I would have to go back and retouch up the dark colour if I splodged in the wrong place. So yeah, it works for my lazy person. And the other thing I learned, as you can tell from the sections, is that I did get, I'm not so overwhelmed, but it got quite, it didn't feel like I was making progress. I don't think I'd painted over that too, had I? It didn't feel like I was making progress because the canvas is so big and you're just doing like boring colours. So you weren't getting that dopamine hit of seeing something come together. Where's that white pen? Let's do some more twos. If there are any more twos. Well, I know I saw some more. All right, there's a two. And there's a two. So if you're curious about what I'm going to do on this corner, I'm just going to take the paint over, all the way over for these cells that come to the edge. And then after I'm done, I'll probably just paint this, I don't know, black or white. Probably black, I suppose. Then I don't have to worry about colours showing through, just to tidy it up. But that's why we're going to make sure we go over the edge so there aren't any white bits left. Is that the only twos? I think I only saw two twos. Right, back to these twos. Now what I'm going to do, not now, but later in the video, because you know there is an element you make the joke about this tip, this paintbrush. I could do with one that was a little bit more delicate. But never mind. I do own one that's more delicate, but I'm not going to use it. Where was that other two? I saw one. I did it over here. There it is. The whole point is that I'm doing this with the brushes they provide. It's like I'm testing it. I'm testing it for you. Right. So now I'm going to go over and give it a second coat. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. How I'm going to do it in this video is there is only so much time a person can spend watching paint dry, and it's especially when you're just doing second coats, so you're not even seeing what the colours. That said, look how much more opaque and poppy that colour has gone. Oops. Doesn't matter if you go over the lines. It's acrylic paint. Nice thing about acrylic paint, it's thick and it is usually relatively opaque. So you go over the lines, you make a splodge, whatever colour that is, 28, which is a dark green. Yeah, I'll just be able to cover that up then. So so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on like a first coat. I'm doing this with two coats, maybe three I don't think I need three by the looks of how it's come together, which is nice. And then what I'll do is I'll put on the next coat, and then I'll time lapse through the second coat, if that makes sense. And then I'll come back. So it'll only be a few seconds for you. For me, it'd be like 5 minutes. But for you, it'd be like 10 seconds. And then you'll get the dopamine hit straight away. Me, I have to wait. But yeah, you don't want to have to watch paint dry the whole time. That would be ridiculous. And I'm not that interested in the person. I don't have lots of witty stories to talk about. Because look, right. I need to stop obsessing. It doesn't matter. That's the thing with art. You make a mistake, you make a splodgy mess. That's okay. Well, we'll see. What worries me is how thick this tip is for this brush, and I've got little things like this. So it's possible I might actually go get another brush for the small, like a small detailer. And this is what we learn if you buy a HouseArt kit. This is Alexa telling me to put my dishwasher on, which I'd already done. I can't remember what I was saying. Rudely interrupted by the device. Yeah, no, I think I was talking about not worrying about things going over the line or not obsessing about it. Because that's the thing about paint and art, and you know, we don't want it to be precisely painted. That these little splodges that go over the edge, that's what's making it mine, isn't it? That's what's making it not a machine printed, and that's what, and no other human has done it this way. And that's how you got to look at it. These are all things that make it yours. So let me put the lid on that. Make sure it's firmly shut, because that will just turn into plastic. Acrylic paint is plastic based. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to put on the second colour and just wash out my brush, and we'll do these white ones. And then what shall I do? Nine is another green, so let's do the 9. And then what I'll do is I'll put down the first coat of 9. The reason I'm using this, I do have other acrylic pens from Guangna which are better. This is okay, but yeah, I didn't want to use it because I've got gesso on this. It's going to tear up this tip, because gesso is like, it's not sandpaper, but it's a bit like sandpaper. It gives it a rough texture so that the paint has something to grip onto. But it's designed for paintbrushes, not for paint pens. Right, let's do these 9s. Let's hope I can find them all when I go back after. Is that a 9? Well, that's a 9. Right, so now we're going to see what I mean when I take off this thing. Right, so I'm just going to lift that up for now, because this 9 is here. We're going to paint this. But I'm not going to be tempted to paint this one. This is where it goes. But I didn't really need to pull it up. Yeah, it's all right. So, are they all my 9s? I think they are. So let's put the first coat of 9 on. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave that picture up there, and then that's, you can remember what I'm looking at. I'm working on. Right, paint pot 9. Oh, the other thing I learned from my previous foray into paint by numbers is that it takes way more time than I ever allow myself. Ever. Okay, do these. And I always think, oh yeah, I'll do that. And another time, if this was the first time, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll do this section in like 2 hours. I would be surprised if I get this section completed in this video today, even accounting for the time lapse. Let's just do the ones. I'm just pulling the paint from the lid rather than inside the pot, because eventually, when this is open, this will just turn hard anyway. So rather than waste the paint, we pull from the lid first. I'm not feeling the need to use flow aid yet. I just brought it out in case some of the paints had gone a bit gunky, but they have not. Funny, there's some things, like, I'm quite an impatient person, but there are some things that miraculously I do have the patience for. But I do need that little dopamine hit of, like, at the end of this session, that I can see something recognizable, if that makes sense, which I didn't get when I went cross country, because yeah, that's not how it works. So I did learn, even though it's one of the few times I'm actually thrown away a project, because it was just like I had no desire to finish it. It wasn't a very good picture anyway, and like I say, not to my style. And I was just thinking about, I'd looked at my old, I had a couple of diamond paintings, Paint by Numbers, in my stash that I bought from AliExpress in the past, which were hopefully better quality. But I'll never know now because I took my colouring break and I came back and all these little pots. I thought, oh, I'll have a look and see what they're like, and they was all rock hard where they'd been left in the left to vegetate in the cupboard. So yeah, I've got to get new paints for them. I've still got the canvases and everything. In fact, I still kept the pots just so that I could colour match the paint. So we'll see. It could be though that if this painting is, if I enjoy this painting, you know, the HouseArt one, because it wasn't, they wasn't super expensive like who's paint by number people, Shipper. But they do pitch their price. Their price point is like higher than a budget. I think it was like, do you know what? I don't even want to guess. I think it was like £20, but the frame was extra. You can customize it if you go to. I'll leave a link in the description to their website, but it's you can have them in various sizes. I think the smallest one they start at is 50 by 40, and you can have it for simplified version with I want to say 24 paints, and then you have the intermediate, which is like the recommended. I have 36 paints, and then there's this one, which is like the advanced one, which is 48. You see what it's typical though, because I have literally only done one paint by number before, which I did not finish. But did I go for the simple painting? No, no. I went for the hardest, the more detailed ones. If you know me, especially from my diamond painted channel, you know I like high confetti. Right, so we're going to go across the edge there. I should have done that there. Go across. Was that a 9? That's a 9. Already I'd forgotten that I was planning to go over the edge. Yeah, I like high confetti paintings. I like high colour counts. I don't mind small details. So let's hope this pays off. But right now the paints feel quite nice. The symbols are easy to read, at least so far. So that's promising. My only gripe, I think, is the fact that this is a #1 brush, and it's nice, but it's not a detailer brush. I think I'm going to struggle with some of these smaller areas, and I could just say, right, let me just use the brushes that come with it and we'll make a mess. But I know it might be a slog. So I would suggest if you do get a painting, it might be worth just going down. You know, you don't even have to buy super fancy brushes. You can buy sort of, I want to say like disposable. Like they're not. Obviously, what would be nice would be to buy a set of brushes. They do sell, like I say, they sent some. I might get those brushes, the ones that you can buy from HouseArt as well. I don't think they was that expensive. Maybe £8 or £9. So that's like $12, $13. Is that all? That's all I see from that. What, is that a 9? Look, let me use their magnifying glass. Yeah, that's a 9. As you came in, I don't know why they've made that number so tiny. The space isn't that small. Was there any more? That's an 8. Okay, I think I'm good. Yeah, so they wasn't that expensive, to be fair. but you can buy them on Amazon as well. Just buy a selection where you can get those ones that, you know, if they're that cheap, just use them for the painting, and then when you're done, I mean, it's terrible to throw away, but if they're in a bad state, sometimes it's just easier to, for the super budget ones. But I'm talking they cost like £1.50 for a set. $2. Or you can just stump up for a nice set and look after them. And then it'd be, if you enjoyed your diamond, your, I keep wanting to say diamond painting. It's because it has the word painting in it. I'm not very good at braining sometimes. But yeah, if you enjoy doing the painting by number, then you're probably going to be wanting more anyway. So it might be worth picking up at, you know, maybe starting with the cheap brushes or getting by with these. For all I know, they send that set of brushes for the 48 colours because it is more expensive. That one, oh no, there's one over there. Trouble with when I mark things, I white it out. It's not completely whited out; it's greyed out. Yes, I have to refine them, so that's why I'm only going to do one colour at a time. And then I'm going to do my second coat one colour at a time, and that way I can keep track of what on earth am I doing, sort of thing. And one here. There, I'll just make sure I go over the key line because that's where the two colours meet. You see, I just moved the tape to the side. It's not meant to be a hard and fast rule. It's just meant to keep me restrained. Helps me focus on an area. Right. No, that's the wrong colour. See, that was. I'm like, that's not coat to the edge. Let me just do that, and that's two. Oh, and now I just put my brush in the wrong water. Right. Well, guess what I'll be doing when I switch to time lapse. I stop the camera and switch to time lapse. It's fine. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. Okay. Right. I am going to stop the camera. I'm going to go to time lapse. I'm going to put a second coat of all these number 9s on, and then I'll be back. Right, second coat of green done. I even had a bonus 9. I was like, how did I miss that? Apparently I have an attention span of a fly, because as soon as I whited out the 9, I remembered it was because I'd moved this, because I was doing that 9. So there was 2 bonus 9s done. It's fine. It's fine as long as I don't forget to do it and I end up with a section like this. Right, so what shall I do next? What colour is it? Oh, 6 is a light colour. Let's do 6. Look, that's a beige colour. So move over 6 here. And oh, do I do the 6? Comes here. It does not. We're not going to do that 6 because we remember our numbers. That's an 8. 0. Oh, there's a 6 there. That does start on this one. Hang on, let me unpeel this. Right, let's put that away first of all, and we'll just peel off this bit of tape. Right, so that goes to there. So we've got a 6 there. Oh, there's a 6. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it's the beach. Got a 6 there. Any more 6? Just 2 bits of 6. Looks like it. Let's just do that one again. Okay. Make sure we've got all our green out of our brush, because we do not want to contaminate. That's another reason why I like going light to dark. It's because you're less likely to contaminate your paints if you're going lighter to darker. Right. Let's do this. Yeah, so it took me about 5 minutes to do that second coat, which is not too bad. And as this is only looks like it's only 2 places, I won't do a time lapse. For the second coat of this, you can do that. We don't want to be time lapsing all the time. I might time lapse. You'll have to let me know. Like, because I don't plan to do this entire painting on camera. That would be, I'm not sure. That would be something of interest, but I could do it as a time lapse. And if I ever finish it, I can do a post review. And also, while I was doing that, I've flip flopped again, and I've decided I'm not going to get the little brush. This painting is for science. I've got a second painting, which I'll do with the brush set. But this one will suffer it. If there's a problem getting into the small gaps, it might not work. It might not be a problem. Like it might go over the edges and stuff, but the painting might still look all right at the end, if that makes sense. So just because it struggles with small gaps doesn't necessarily mean it'll look bad. So let's just do it the way it was sent. And then we'll know, won't we? Otherwise we'll just be wondering. Right, I want to go over the edge for this. The side edge. This way. Over here. Paint the canvas edge, so that we have no gaps when we put our border in. I don't know what I'll do with these. Look, this is 6. I did put white on that. I think I might have pulled up the white with the peach. Probably I might have gone to it too soon. Right, let's take this moment to just double check. See, you can still see the key line, and that's why I like doing the light colours, because you can still see the key line even though I've gone over it. And that'll disappear, but it means that when I come in, I don't get so confused. And I don't have to go right to the edge the second time. Yeah, this works. I know when I was doing the other painting, which had lots of colours like this, I'd have to look like 3 to 4 coats on. So the white pen, it's doing its job. I know people use things like Poscas and that, which possibly is a different formula. Right, let's do this one. I'm just gonna. No, that's still wet. I do not want to do that while it's still wet. Why couldn't there be more 6s? I could do that 6, couldn't I? But then I'd have to wait. I'd just have to wait for that 6 to dry before I could put on that second coat. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to be patient. Oh, I'm not good with patient. So how are you all? There we go. I can be polite. Make a conversation. How are you all? Hope you are well. Have you ever done a painting by number before? Let me know. Really, I just need this second coat for the number. Let's just slap it on. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Acrylic paint does dry quickly. Just not perhaps as quickly as I was asking of it. Right, that'll do. If I need to put on a third coat, I can come back. And that is why, let's close this lid. That is why as well, if there's a colour later on and I'm like, I want to do another colour, then that's when I can look at this, this piece of paper. That's what it's for. I'm going, oh, what is that cream? And there's, oh, it's 6. You can also take a picture of it with your phone, but that is obviously not much good for me because I am filming on my phone. Perhaps I should have taken a picture on my iPad. Right. That is that. That's what have we got? I'm still trying for a light colour. I know we've got a lot of reds in here. 11, that's light. We only got 111. There's 11 there. Sorry if you can hear the kids screaming. I live opposite a school and they are on their mid-morning break. Is that the only 11? Looks like it, doesn't it? Okay, well that's going to be short and sweet. This is the downside to when you work on a small section, because you're just popping open the paint for just one thing. But that's okay. I'm all right with that. It's not going to be open for long. But yeah, they are on a school break, and it's a good time for me to mention. If you're a regular here, you will have heard this spiel many, 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 many times before. And I live in London. I live on a through route. It's not the busiest of roads, but it's in the daytime at least. So obviously I'm in a residential area, but in the daytime at least, this road does not have many sets of traffic lights or anything like that. But as mentioned, I'm near a school, which means there is a pedestrian crossing and there's a junction. So there is always starting and stopping traffic. And because there isn't many sets of lights during the daytime, and because London has a lot of traffic, the emergency services quite often come down here. So if you hear a siren, you will probably hear a siren at some point. Usually at least one. Then it's because the police and also the ambulance, but oddly, not very often the fire, use this as a through route for the area I live. Or maybe there's just not so many fires, so they don't come out very often. We had a wildfire the other day. I say we. I live in, as I say, I live in London. I live in like the northeastern part, and there was a wildfire from, because we've had in all these heat waves and everything is so dry. What colour do I want to do? I don't want to do a red yet. Oh, did I just see a 2? I did. Look, I missed a 2. Why didn't you tell me? And yeah, and it was like a proper. It's like it's not close to where I live, but it's my part of the. Obviously, London is very big. It's just like big sprawling mass. So there is a lot of London that you wouldn't maybe consider London. So this is like I don't know if it's marshland or it was just like a piece of wild. Well, it's not a park, but it's kind of a park, like I don't know what you'd call it, but it's just full of grass and bushes and stuff like that. Like occasionally, we have cattle roaming in that area, so it's that kind of in betweeny. And yeah, it caught fire, and it was a proper brush fire. And obviously, it was in London, and obviously they could respond to it really quickly with a lot of fire engines because they just came from other boroughs. So they did get it under control, but I think it took them like 5 or 6 hours to get this wildfire under control. It's just like, it's insane. Right. I can't see the 2, so that's that one done again. Yeah, it's scary. Scary. I mean, we have parks and stuff, obviously, where I live. Because I'm relatively central. But even like just down, I'm like in a little L-shaped block of flats, and in the back there's a courtyard with a grass area and there's a couple of picnic tables out there and all that sort of thing. Dry as a bone. It's just like, oh, I'm so scared that somebody's going to go out and have a barbecue. Let's do 38, and yeah, it's just going to all go up. Just, I don't know. I'm laughing. It's terrifying. Right, so that's a 38. Any more 38s? put the paint there so that I remember what I'm doing. It's definitely not like me to get sidetracked halfway through what I'm doing. Any more 38s? There's a 38. Is that a 38? That is a 38 as well. So we've got two. I must remember to find that one, because that one right on the edge, I could easily miss that. I might do that one first. Any more 38s? 10, 25. Right, no, I think. Oh, there's a 38. See, I keep missing these ones. Why aren't you telling me? Shout louder. But yeah, I know that we are not. It's not unique to us. This hot weather this year is insane. It's insane because it's only. Oh, this one's a bit claggy. I might put in a couple of drops of. It feels like it's been shook up. It's not a full pot, and it's just been through the wild. And I'm just. Is this got a drop? No, it does not. Gosh. Okay, I'm just going to use my paintbrush to put in a drop. Put in a drop there. I'll put in a drop there. Go on, get off. And then what I'll do is I'll mix it up with that, because it's not gunky, but it just looked a bit thicker than the others. And we'll just use that to mix it up. You can see it already. It turns it creamy. I'll put a drop in there and a drop in there. You see, that's why it's come up from the bottom of the pot. So now I've got paint all over my brush, which is obviously a good thing, but you can have too much paint. There is such a thing as too much paint. Right. Right, let's do these ones that I might forget, which was in here. And we're just going to take it around the corner, remember, so that I can paint that area black and not have to worry about it meeting the line. And there was another, yes, here. But yeah, oh, that's very similar to 2. I can hardly tell the difference with that. But I can't remember if I finished saying the sentence earlier about how I decided not to use the little brush. I think I did. But I've decided not to use the extra brushes. We're going to just use what came with the kit. And sorry for repeating myself if that's what I've said twice. Problem is, I don't actually listen to myself sometimes. I just rattle out the first thing that comes to mind, and then I don't retain what I've said, because that seems like a lot of effort. Any more 38s? I know there is. Right, this one. I'll just go in here. This is where it's going to get narrow. And a bit trickier. And I've gone over the line, but that doesn't matter, because it's a painting. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is what makes it mine. And if it looks a mess, then we just blame the brush. There we go. That's a good reason for me to do it with the brushes. They come with a kit. Like, I could have done it better, but it was the brushes. Right, I'm going to get in there because I want a gap between the colours. And that goes in there. Sorry, you can tell the minute I have to start thinking. Just like all words go out the window. I'm just like I'm braining. What would be nice is if I did brain and I got it right, but chances are high that I'll brain and I'll still mess something up. Brain is not very reliable. Right, was there any, I feel like, is there anything more that I've whited out there? Yes. And this is where it's going to get tricky because this is so close to number 2 green. So I don't want to put a second coat on the wrong thing. I won't time lapse it. And you can see, you can hear me. Oh, there's another 38. Do you know what? I'm just going to do, oh, which one was it? It was around here, wasn't it? Let's do this one. While I remember it's there. Okay, oops, nearly painted over 15. Might have to do 15 next. What's 15? That's a light green. Right, let's do this one then. I just want to do that other one while I remembered which, because I knew it was in the corner and I knew it was next to 2. I just want to do it while I remembered which one was which. Same as this. I'm going to come back to this as soon as I think it's dry. But in the meantime, let's do this one. Coat around the side. That one, I think it was. That was not one. That one, that is 38. I mean, I could look at the piece of paper. Who does that? This was one, wasn't it? I think it was. It is now. The bright side is that if it is the wrong green, they're so close that it doesn't actually matter. I can see number 6 through that. But as it's dried lighter. Same with there. I'm going to go back and do the 6 again in a minute. But we'll just get this done. In here, get rid of those. Doesn't matter if they're splodges. Doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. If you've ever seen an acrylic painting, like an artist, it's done. Same with oils. Like you get ridges. It's fine. Brush strokes and things like that. Is that 38? Is that a 38? It is now. Oh. Trouble is, because as it dries, it changes colour. So I'm not really sure. That one was. Let's do this one. Alright, did I get them all? Where's that piece of paper? Oh, I need to check these ones. Oh, that was 2. I covered up the 2. It doesn't matter. They're so close. It doesn't matter. Right, okay. Let's just go with that. We're alright. 38. Nobody's going to notice that 38 is not quite as yellow as this one. Yeah, okay. But though I do have to get, look, I can see the 2 through there. Alright, maybe I will. Maybe I'll fix that. Let's fix the 6 next. That's going to definitely need 3 coats. Wipe off my brush. Double dip it. Let's get the, what was it, 6. Just fix this. I keep thinking I've got paint in my brush, and that's not. It's like that's the design. Right, so I'm just going to do it over the middle. So, oh look, this I didn't wipe it off from water, so it's gone thin. I'm an idiot. I don't even pay attention to myself. The annoying thing is I did it in the main pot, and I wiped off the brush, and then I double dipped. And I'm going to leave that there just in case to remind me. But you can see where it's. That might need another coat just because I forgot to get the water out, and it waters it down, dilutes it. Right, so this one, I'm going to do another splodge on there because I can see that number 2. Number 2, I said a number 2. Can I see any more 2s? Might just fix this. Which was supposed to be 2. Painted over it. I wasn't sure, and I did it anyway. That's how I roll, apparently. Right, is that it? Let's get this last bit of paint off my brush. I may as well just dab it on some of these ones. Just do it there, and that'll just soften the edge. Okay, right. Put that away. And while we wait for that to dry, the watery to dry, let's do 37 is red, number 5 is black, or what is that? Oh no, really, really dark green. 10 is a light sort of blue. Let's do that. Let's do 10. And I saw 10. Where did I see it? It was a small one. Where did I see it? It was right there. There. Okay. 10 is there. That's 7. Is that the only 10? I think it might be. Sorry, I keep mumbling. It's a bad habit. It's when I'm talking to you and I'm talking to myself, and it makes me mumble. I think that's the only 10. Okay, let's just do that then. I'll bring this back down. Remind me not to get carried away with the section. Oh, it's like a blue-grey. Wipe, double dip, dry. Now, let's just do this one. The only trouble with working down in this corner, I've got nothing to lean my hand on. And I'm not using an easel because obviously the camera is hard enough to set up as it is. And it's even worse with a you know, an easel. Also, I know lots of people like easels, and obviously artists like easels. It doesn't help me. It doesn't feel comfortable. So we muddle along. I don't think I'm going to need a second coat of this one, am I? It's pretty opaque. I mustn't overwork it. Right. 10. Let's wash this brush. And I'm going to go back and I'm doing a... Oh. Is it ready? Is 6 ready? No, it's still sticky. We'll do one more colour. Well, I've got a lot of 15. No, 16. I've got a 16, so that's a blue. Oh, 17 is light. Let's do 17. This is more of the beach. And then what I can do is I can leave that to dry as it's quite a big patch. There's not many 17s. Is that the only 17 in fact? No, there's 17 there. 17 there. So I'll do those 2 and then I can switch to time lapse because then I can also like just give it a minute to dry without you sitting there having to wait. Right, first things first. Let's just paint over this. And where's the other one here? Is that the only 17s? I think it is. And then, yeah, and I'll switch to time lapse. I can do the second thing. And then what I'll do on the time lapse is I'll go back and do these number 6s as well. They should be dry by then. Let's do the little one first. And I want to go over this line here because it meets up with 6. We want to make sure that grey line is covered. Doesn't matter so much when you're with the dark colours because the dark colours will cover it. When you've got 2 light colours, they'll make a bit more effort. Right, that's going to go down the side. Get there. Even with that, I can still see the line through it slightly. Right, let's do this big one. Use that. I probably could have used the bigger brush for this one, couldn't I? So I do have this one. No, not this one. Yeah, this one. It's like a. Oh, I never noticed. I thought that was. No, it is. For a minute there, I thought it was like a filbert, but it's not. It's just like a round edge. But it's a bigger brush. I could have used it. But I'm kind of. I like this brush, like for bigger spaces, and like this, it's just a bit big for the small spaces. So that's what I'm. Words. If you know what I mean, it's just a little bit too big for small places, but great for in the middle stuff. It does have quite big brush strokes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if I was better experienced, I'd be like, oh, let's get rid of this brush. Go to something bigger. But I'm not. Look, you can see the 17 through it now, and that's what happens when it all dries. It lightens. So you're like, oh yeah, I've got, it's opaque. No, it's not. Give it another coat later. Okay, but I definitely need to give these 17s another coat, and this is a big patch. So I'm just going to pause the camera just for like 5 minutes. Do you know what? Let me just put that 6 there, so I remember which one I'm doing afterwards. Put it up there. I'm going to wash my brush now because I don't want the brush sitting in water. With my old brushes, all this sort of plastic coated handle, it's like wooden underneath, and it's just a plastic coating, and it would all peel off. So annoying. Right, for now, let's have a pause. Right, that's better. I think that's okay. So let's go for 14. I'll tell you something. I checked how long I'd been filming for before because you lose track when you stop and start for a time lapse. You kind of lose track. And oh, I've not done my white. No, let's just do the white because this is a light color. And this time flies. This is what I was saying at the start. I always think, oh, maybe I can do this section. I am not going to get this section done today, but we can go. We can still go for another half hour. Now, is that the only 14s? Also, you might have seen on the time lapse. I did point at it, but being time lapse, it might have taken a picture between points. But I don't know if I've just done a really bad job on this green, this 38, or it's just I forgot the second coat completely. But it was a bit rough. So yeah, I gave that a second coat as well. Right, what was I doing? 14. I did that one first, didn't I? That was the only 14s. Okay. So yeah, I'll go for another half hour or so. And then what I'll do at the end, I will obviously turn the picture at the end. And you can see, hopefully we'll be able to recognise something. I will definitely do some red before I go. Because those are the flowers, and we'll get something that like a bit pops out and hopefully makes it recognisable. But yeah, time flies. I also, hopefully the camera isn't too different, but I turned it off briefly after the end of the time lapse because it's not a heat wave in the UK at the moment yet. Again, but it's a little bit warm, and like the camera, it heats up, and it is way easier to to let the phone cool down before it overheats than it is to wait for it to overheat, and then you have to, because it goes mental. It just goes crazy if a camera overheats, a phone overheats, I should say. Right, so that's 14 done. Nice and easy one. Wash my brush. I think that's meant to be like shadowy beach. Double dip. Right, next one. What am I going to do next? I am going to do. This is a light colour, 33. So let's do that one. Is there any other 33s? 33. And this is why another reason why I go down to the smaller sections. Because when you're doing this over the whole painting and you're looking for your number, it's I can still see that number through there, 17, and that's coming through now. It's drying. So that's a 3-coater. I think that's the last 33. It is just the way it goes with light colours. Certain colours as well. Reds can be transparent, so I'm anticipating that. Right, so only just a 133, I think, I can see. It's quite a big bit. Let's just do that. What was I talking about? Can't even remember. There's a shocker. This is grey. Maybe that's meant to be the shadow on the beach. There is a palm tree. I guess I'll just have to wait until the end and see if it's recognisable. That's part of the fun of it, though, of colour by numbers and paint by numbers. I think. Like it's not a mystery, but you still don't know exactly. Like diamond painting, unless you do a wobbly line or you put the wrong drills in or something like that, it's still it's quite a there's only so many ways you can mix things up, I guess is what I'm saying. Whereas with a painting, because each stroke is, could be different, it's a bit of a personalised experience. I mean, I do a lot of things with my diamond paintings, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't. A diamond painting I do doesn't feel different, like it doesn't belong to me, just because somebody else has done one, and it's ostensibly the same, but it's not. Because we're all people and we're all different. And my wobbly lines will, are what identify me, and that is fine. This one, you can do all sorts. Usually, probably when they're going wrong. I expect things to go wrong. That's my default. I think that's the only 33 I've got. But I'm going to go back and do another of this 17, because that is definitely, now that is. Just make sure my brush is dry. That's the double dip. Just run it through my fingers just to make sure. Right, 17. But yeah, it's just painting by numbers does require there's a different element of patience. I'm sure people blast through these in like 2 or 3 days, and this will take me forever, especially as I won't do it every day. But I will do it now and then. And I might do it as a time lapse, and then I can show it. It depends if I feel like I'm going to finish it, because like I say, I never finished the last one. There, I've painted over the green now, haven't I? So what was that green? I think that was not 2. That was, what number was it? Is that the 38? Yes, it was. See, because I've been working in a small area, I mean, I did have to check myself just to make sure, but I was pretty sure that's 38. I've gone over because it's on the curve. And because the camera is right here as well. I can't leave my head in, so I have to. I'm not quite arm's length, but I'm not as comfy as I would be without the camera. I'm just gonna do that. Right, was there any other 38s that I needed? That one was all right. Just that one. Looks like that's a drip of water. That must have been up the metal thing or something. That's annoying. Okay, that's fine. So just we won't touch it, and time will dry that. It had a drip in it. Did I wipe that one? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I wiped it because I was doing the 17 and I forgot for the green. Me forget. Right, shall we do a colour? Look, Let's do red. It's a sort of, well, it's a sort of coral pink red. Let me open it up to see what it's like. Shouldn't do it over the painting. Yeah. So it's coral. But we've got lots to cover over here, so lots of flowers. Well, I'm just going to move that to one side. Not too far, so that I don't forget. I'll move it again. Cover up all these 37s. At least this one will be easy to keep track of. Because once I've got the first coat down, it's going to be the only red in the area. 37, 37. Any more? Oh, 37. Think that might be it. But look, it's already coming through the white. Admittedly, this is not the best white, but it's still easier to do it with a pen than it is to paint over it. Right, any more 37s? That one needs another one. That one needs another one. I think that's all the 37s though. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dry this brush again, and I'm just going to use the flow aid. I think it's because these ones, like, they didn't have as much paint in the pot, so it's had a chance to move around. And I don't think that's very healthy for paint, because it means there was a bit of is that it there? Probably. It means there was a bit of air in the pot when it was let's do it here. Get the lid on that before I have an accident. Yeah, it just means there was a bit of, when they close the lid, it means there's some air trapped in the pot. And I think that just, because they've been sitting there for a few months, I could have still used it as it was. This is an abundance of caution that I'm using the flow aid. I will leave a link to that below as well. Oh look, there's a 37 there. Let's just do this one. It's just underneath this paper. Let's go with that. Yeah, no, I don't like the bullet tip. Okay, go with that. I should have brought out a toothpick for mixing this up. Sorry if you're hearing the tooting outside. I don't know why. The lights are red, so they should not be moving unless it was in the side street. But it didn't feel like it. Right, let's just scrape that off because I don't want too much paint. Right, let's go. Start with the small one. Oh, I've still got too much paint there. Get off. Next time, remind me to bring a toothpick with me. Why are they still tooting? Yeah, I can definitely see the number through it still. Even with the white opaque. Not the white starting to make it opaque. Just some pigments. Or maybe I'm just being a bit too tight with the paint. But if I put a lot of paint on my brush, it's just like I'm asking for trouble. Because then I just slap it on and it goes everywhere. I think I prefer to just, if it needs another coat, it needs another coat. I'm going to get nice up into there. And the same for here. We don't want any white lines to appear between our colour changes. Get that in there. I mean, it's quite an abstracty I'm not, well, maybe not abstract is not the right word, but it's a very soft, like these flowers, they do not have like centers in them. They're just like red blobs. It's like that kind of sort of art style. And just the same with diamond paintings. You're not supposed to look at it with your nose in it, which is another thing that's like kind of tough. It's hard to let go of that sometimes. You can see like something is not, I don't want to say perfect, but you know, you've not been very precise or something, or it looks a bit. If it was a diamond painting, it might look a bit pixelated, or in this case, this just looks like red blobs. Because even right now, when I look at it from far away, when I show this at the end, I'll take a picture. Um, it's still not got the context of the rest of the picture, so it might look a bit weird. I'm just bracing myself psychologically so I don't look at it and be like disappointed. Because if I'm disappointed, then I won't want to do it again. Just right. Get this in. I want to get this on decently thick because I don't want to wipe the canvas showing through either. But the gesso helps with that. It does not prevent it completely. It just helps it go on smoother. Right, that's that one done. And I should stress, I'm not an artist or anything like that, so yeah, this is very much if you're like normal, if you're a normal person that thinks, oh, could I do? Oh, I'm no good at art. Could I do a painting by numbers? I get to the end and it looks okay, then you know, because if I can do it, anybody can. I mean, I do the adult colouring, so I do know the basis of like colour theory and things like that, but and a bit about shading and highlights. But I'm not a natural at it. Some people can just look at it and know exactly where to put highlights, especially. I'm not very good at shadows. I'm all right. Highlights, for some reason, I find harder. Right, that one. This splodge. And it is a splodge. Soften that there. I don't know if you can hear people talking outside. Somebody, well, not somebody, two people. Two people are outside, like right under my window on the pavement, I'm 2 floors up. They've decided to have a stop and have a conversation, which is lovely, apart from the fact they're talking like they don't have, like they're not within 2 feet of each other, but like halfway down the street. I don't know why people have to talk at maximum volume. Because it's not even excited conversation. Like if people get excited about a conversation, you know what I mean, animated, you can understand the volume goes up a little bit, but they just seem to be having a normal conversation, just really loud, but not so loud that I can actually understand what they're saying. If it was a good gossip, just they were saying something interesting, it might be different. To let you know what the gossip was. Right, another 37. Yes, this in here. I think I just need to put this on a bit more generously. And patiently. I'm still in the lid. That's good. That's the deceiving thing. Sometimes you look at paints and you think, oh, there's not much in there. It's surprising how little paint you actually use for doing quite biggish, because, you know, I've got this in here. I mean, obviously this is not masses and masses of area, but I've barely touched this lid, the paint that's in this lid. I could do second, you know, second time over and probably third time over, and there'll still be plenty left in the lid. Right, is that all of the 37s? Did I get them all? I think I did. Right, I'm going to time lapse then. I'm going to just give that 2 minutes to dry. And then maybe these people who are yapping under my window will go away, and then I will do time lapse. And yeah, so back in a sec. Okay, so I am back, and yeah, as you can see, not exactly as planned. So I stopped the camera to do the time lapse, obviously, and I came back and I was like, oh no, I've done. It's already been over an hour, and I think that might have played a part in my rush because I filmed a sign off, and I just did some little dark red because I wanted to do it before because I'd covered over the lines, and I wanted to make sure that I wouldn't forget. And I did that and I signed off and I was like, yeah, you'll see my next. So I'll carry it on off camera and you'll see the update. I'll put it on Facebook. And yeah, I didn't record. I didn't record the last piece. So, like I say, I didn't do much. I've just got it here so you've got some context. Obviously, I wasn't expecting much and I didn't get much. So we've got our bushes and we got the tree starting up here. And let me just zoom you in just a little bit. So yeah, literally like just this dark red. This is all I did because gone over the line, one of these lines. I can't remember which one. This is like a week later. I was not happy when I I went to my camera and downloaded everything. Obviously, I didn't download and check it straight away, and so yeah, I finished this. I mean, these are just blobs, but the original artwork is like this. It's like that kind of style, so that's fine. So yeah, expect to see an update on this soon on my Facebook page. If you're not following me on Facebook, it's Pebblez Diamond Painting and Adult Colouring, but there is a link in the description below. And what I'll do is maybe when I've done like this section, because you know I'm using these as like just general guides. Yeah, I'll do a larger section. I won't be doing it on camera because I know this is an adult colouring channel, and while I think some people would be interested in the colour by number, like I'm not going to do it regularly. It'll be a once and every now and again. But yeah, if you want to see my progress on this, check me out on Facebook, and that is where I will update the progress on this until I get near the end or something significantly looks significantly good. So yeah, there we go. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and thanks for watching. Bye for now. Bye.